Good morning or good afternoon, ma'am. I will be introducing our application for the course CC17. Our team made an app through Android Studio, and our application is called GetGo. GetGo is a motivational app for people to keep track of their goals. This app specifically encourages people to not live a mundane life, motivate people to just keep going as their goals help remind them that life is too short, so do whatever you want. GetGo has 4 features. First, GetGo contains a curated list of interesting activities you can do. An activity contains a description to tell you how to do a specific activity. Second, a user can create their own to-do item and share it with everyone in the app. They can also keep it to themselves if they want. GetGo also has a leaderboard. With a leaderboard, users now have the motivation to do as many activities as they can. They can compete with other users while earning fun memories and skills along the way.
I'll be discussing its layout and intents. To start it off, let us open our application. What we first see is our logo, app name, and a button that prompts the user to sign in using their Google account. For this login activities layout, a constraint layout was used. This holds an image view for the logo, a text view for the app name, and a Google sign-in button. Once login is successful, this leads to the main activity, which is made up of a root element that is a constraint layout and a frame layout. We could also see here that a main menu is used. It consists of a single logout item. When the user selects this, the user will be brought back to the login activity seen before. We could also see that there's a bottom menu. This is done using a bottom navigation view which consists of 3 items, namely profile, home, and leaderboard. These items are made of each individual fragments that are shown when the item is selected. The profile fragment contains the user information including a profile pic, name, and the number of activities that are ongoing or completed. The list of private activities are also kept here. For its layout, it is made of a root element frame layout and a scroll view, a linear layout within a constraint layout that holds the image view for the profile pic and text view for name, another linear layout for the text views for the ongoing and completed activities. A recycler view is also utilized to hold the private activities to be added. Second is the home fragment, which is what we could see once the user have successfully logged in. It utilizes a frame layout. Inside it is a constraint layout that holds a button, which allows the user to add an activity. A recycler view was also used to hold the public activities to be added. Once the user clicks on Add an Activity button, an intent is used that leads the user to another Android activity. This is where the user creates an activity with title and description. This layout makes use of a constraint layout that consists of 2 editable text fields for the activity title and description. We could also see here a Finish button. The user must fill up all the fields, otherwise when they click Finish, a toast would appear with the message, Empty fields not allowed. When the fields are complete and the user clicks on Finish, an alert dialog will also appear asking the user if they want to make their activity public. When the user clicks on Yes, the activity created will be passed through the home fragment recycler view and is added to the list of public activities. When the user clicks on No, the activity created will be passed on to the recycler view in the profile fragment that holds the list of private activities. Every time an activity is successfully created, a toast would appear with the message, Data saved. The third fragment is the leaderboard, which makes use of a scroll view and a recycler view. In here, we could see the other user's score and is arranged from the lowest to the highest.
Hello, this is Nicole, and I'll be talking about the database side of our project. We used Firebase Firestore for this. I'll start by showing you the database structure. We have two collections, the activities and users. The activities collection contains the individual activity documents with fields named activity name and activity description. The users collection contains the individual user documents with fields named uh, display name and score. Within each user document is a subcollection called private activities, which contains a private version of the activities collection I showed earlier. Only the user can access this subcollection. Now, I'll show you how the app retrieves data from this database. I will use the second fragment or the home menu as an example. Second fragment, and second. So this is the layout for the second fragment. We have a recycler view in our layout. This allows us to recycle a view item to display numerous data, and that data that we need to show here is the documents in the public activities collection. So what we did is first create our data model called activity model, which holds all our data or data fields about the activities. So the important ones are the activity name and activity description. The ID and activity pick weren't used because um, then we created an adapter called activity adapter, which with the use of our view holder will hold the views that will display our data like these lines of codes do. Yeah. And with the use of the onbind view holder, tama, we'll bind those data here to those views. Here we also inflate the layout. So on the Kotlin file, we first initialized the recycler view, the activity adapter, and the and database and activity list, which is the array list of our activity model. Then we assign them the appropriate values. Okay. To retrieve data from the Firestore, we wrote a function called event change listener. What that does is it calls the activities collection and gives it a snapshot listener, which looks for any change, any changes in the documents inside that collection using a for loop, and for every change, it adds those changes to the activity list, which is the array list of the activity model. To demonstrate, let's go to our Firestore and add an activity document. Add document, auto ID, display, no, activity name, sample, public activity, activity description. This is just a sample public activity. Let's save, and we will see that uh, reflected on the public activities. Yeah, this one. Mm, Now I'll show you how data is inserted into the database. Let's use the add activity as an example. So this is the layout for the add activity. The data that we'll need to add is the input taken from the title field and the description field. Take note of the IDs, ET description. If we go to the Kotlin file, we can see here those IDs. Ito, ET activity and ET description. We convert the inputs into string and assign them to the activity name and activity description variables. We need to check if those fields are occupied, so the basic alert function will be called. Otherwise, a toast message is shown saying empty fields are not allowed. So the basic alert function is here. This is the one responsible for the alert dialog that we saw earlier. The code for the positive button click and the negative button click is up here. So if the user chooses yes, it calls the save to firestore function, the one with 3 parameters, which is the name of the collection, the activity name, and activity description. If the user hits no, the save to firestore function with the 4 parameters will be called. The extra parameter is the current user ID. We need that because the private activities subcollection should only be accessible to the user. So the save to firestore function is down here. Sorry. The save to firestore functions are here. So it creates a hash map containing the data fields, which should be exactly the same as the fields in the database, and the values, which will need to be passed. And then it calls the collection and adds that hash map. If the task is successful, it will show a data save message in a toast. Otherwise, it will show a failed message in a toast. Same thing with the save to firestore function with the 4 parameters. The difference is in the collection path. Here, we need to follow this format for a subcollection. So it's users, which is the users collection, plus document, which is where we will pass the current user ID, and the subcollection, which we pass the string private activities up here. To demonstrate that, uh, if I put some text here, this is a private, this is a sample private activity all cut sample activity and hit finish, and we click no to save it on the private activities part in here. The text should be inserted in our database. Let's see. Users. This is my UID. Private activities. Let's see. Yun. So it did update in our database. It was inserted in our database like this. Um, Same thing happens. The updating of, the retrieving of data. Same thing happens with the first fragment, which displays the first fragment. Sorry, it's lagging. Here. The private activities are shown in this recycler view in the first fragment. So the same event change listener function is used, but with the current user ID inserted in the collection path. Hmm, where else? Oh, sa ano din. Same thing happens in the third fragment. So in the third fragment, the documents in the user's collection will be shown here. Ano ba? Here. These documents are going to be the ones displayed in the third fragment or the leaderboard. Sorry, it's in the third fragment. Sorry, it's lagging. Hmm, fragment third. Ay, yun lang pala. So it's a recycler view that shows the user documents. Oh, yun. The same event change listener function is used with this uh, collection, the user's collection, and order by the score. So it's arranged in a descending manner from highest to lowest. Hello, something weird happened earlier. I wasn't able to actually show you how the data is updated. So I'll show it again in here. Activities. Let me update this. I'll delete that, and it reflects on our app. One more time. Sample curve is a sample curve. Finish. Click no to save it on the private activities. So it's what? Tama. So it's updated and it's reflected on our database. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
In closing, we all offer a simple logo as well as a neutral color of the app. For this group project, Ira is assigned with the layout, Sophia for the intents, and Nicole for the database. Stay motivated with GetGo. That is all. Thank you.